Call to order the August 15th, 2024 regular board meeting. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags back over here, please.
Yep, we moved it on you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Any questions, comments? Please call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from July 18th, 2024 regular board meeting?
So moved. Second?
Questions? Let's call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Do we have any public commentary for this evening?
We do not.
Okay. Moving on to the board reports. Can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's board reports, fiscal year 25 July board reports and fiscal year 24 commercial paper and banker acceptances?
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Can you tell us a little bit about these, Mr. Esty?
Absolutely. Thank you, President Chestnut, members of the board. Happy to provide the treasurer report, the financial report for July 2024. July monthly analysis, we're 8.33% through fiscal year 25, which is just 1 month. I had initially said at our meeting that permanent appropriations were going to occur in September. I'm actually bringing those to you tonight. So I didn't update this from our committee meeting, but we are going to be seeing those tonight. The expenditures, when we look at total expenditures, are a 0.7% positive variance to the forecast. Factors that are leading to that variance are purchase services and all other expenses. As we talked about, when we receive our bi-monthly payments from the state, there are revenues that come in, but there are also deductions that come out. We're not seeing those deductions yet because we haven't been in school, so we're not seeing those deductions. So we expect that those are going to level back out and be in line with where we would expect those to be. Looking at revenues, total revenues ended at 0.8% positive variance to the forecast. Factors leading to that are tax reimbursements, state revenue, and interest. When we look at the operating fund, July month to date, which happens to be fiscal year to date because it's the first month, was $148,794.90. Bond COPS fund is July month to date, and again, fiscal year to date of $256,785.04. Currently, Densmore is doing a calculation, again, on the arbitrage that we talked about that is tied to the building funds. So they're continuing to work through that, and you should be briefed on that in the future. We look at financial processes occurring in August. The SCView project is live on all aspects of the software. Continuing to work on timesheets. That's going to be the next big hurdle with individual groups of employees, rolling it out in small groups, and then continuing to add groups. So it can be manageable for not only training purposes but also troubleshooting. There was a rebuild of the employee onboarding workflow just to accommodate all the parties, and I think we're going to have another rebuild of that, just kind of working through the kinks of new software. Continuing to expand custom forms. Those are going to be things like if somebody says, hey, I want to update my address or things like that, it'll be a controlled form that's sent out that the employee would log into and then send it securely back to whatever department needs that information. Gone live on state software redesign. Again, this software is part of that $80,000 of savings that I've talked about for the better part of a year. Also, the capital planning is ongoing with Bradley Payne. That is, just with the summer, it's been a little bit more challenging with schedules to get with them, but that's continuing to be ongoing, and then continuing work to look at the potential refunding of a 2015 bond. As you've seen before, the ongoing fiscal management from fiscal year 23 to present, negotiating the bank interest that occurred in April of 2023, virtual card processing for payments, as well as expenditure reductions and financial software evaluations, just like I just spoke about, as well as permanent reductions of staffing that occurred in 2 different waves in 2023 and then into fiscal year 24. Any questions on what I've discussed? All right.
Voting on this portion so far?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody had any comments? Call the roll.
Ms. Will?
Yes.
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the contracts as listed?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? We discussed these in committee as well.
Yep, these are contracts that need to be brought to you because they exceed 25,000
Okay.
or multi-years.
Yep, okay. Call the roll.
Ms. Will?
Yes.
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the then and now invoices as presented? These are due to the changeover in financial software beginning fiscal year 25.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
So again, these are just due to timing. We closed all POs at the end of the fiscal year, started with a blank slate just because it was a lot easier with going from the old software to the new. And so we're going to be bringing these to you as they come up. Hopefully, we've gotten through the bulk of them with the last 2 months.
Okay. Call the roll.
Ms. Will?
Yes.
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve, and we're looking at a couple consent agenda, MOU.
Should just be action.
Okay. The MOU with the MCEA as attached.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? We talked about this in committee as well.
Yeah, no cost to the district. It's just purely when payments are being made. So it just allows us to do it on a per pay basis.
Okay. Call the roll.
Ms. Will?
Yes.
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 appropriation resolution as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Comments?
These are just the fund level budgets that are required by the county auditor.
Okay. Call the roll.
Ms. Will?
Yes.
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the fiscal year 25 amended certificate as presented below?
So moved. Second.
And this, I'm assuming this is an annual contract?
Again, this is fund level revenues. So expected revenues, the last one was for expected expenditures. This is for fund level expected revenues as well as the current cash balance.
Okay. Call the roll.
Ms. Will?
Yes.
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes. The next item, do we have disposals this month?
Yes, we do. It's attached.
I don't see anything on here, but okay.
Yeah, they're band instruments that have met their
Life, end of life.
End of life.
End of life.
Yes.
Okay. So can I get a motion to dispose of the district band inventory items as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Okay. Call the roll.
Ms. Will?
Yes.
Ms. Powers?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mrs. Mason?
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut?
Yes. Mr. Spicer, what do you have to tell us about the middle school?
Good evening, President Chestnut, members of the board. We have some great aerial photos. Jeff's going to describe some of them for you. Certainly, we've had a great couple first days of school with traffic flow, and the roundabout has been opened. I don't think there are any pictures in here on this, or if they are, they're not. Maybe there is one. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff and see what we got.
Now, as Mr. Spicer said, it's been continued to have a lot of work going on the last month since we last met. The summer's been very, very busy. It's interesting. I've been praying for dry weather for almost a year, and now that we've planted grass around the field house, I'm praying for rain. So, which we haven't gotten. So hopefully, maybe tomorrow and the next few days, it looks good. But here's just a view, kind of looking with our field house. This is our gym area going into the middle school. I can't see.
You
I'm
need to move
sorry.
out.
So this is the kind of elective area of the middle school. This will be where the learning stair comes in. So the main entrance to the middle school is right here. Band and choir area, this is special ed. Underneath this is the kitchen, and of course, this is the cafeteria right there.
That's awesome.
So here's your academic wing. You can see that the roof steel had started going in with this. Pictures taken. Most of that is already decked out. I've got a picture showing some of that decking that is going in. Monday, the roof actually starts going on in the academic wing. So again, you can see, kind of looking at all we've done, we got our new bleachers, we've got the field, Miranda Sports Complex. It took me a long time to stop saying Nest. It's going to take me a little bit of time to go to Miranda Sports Complex from Fieldhouse. But so you can see the high school's kind of down here, if you will, out of the shot. But here's our academic wing with the courtyard, moving into the cafeteria and elective area, and then gymnasiums down here on the east end. Same thing, front of the building right here. You can see Eagles Way kind of sneaking through. Where's the video? All right.
Jeff, we don't have video. We can't upload the Flickr video to this.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's no video, just still photos.
Okay, my bad. We'll see if we can figure that out next month. But, so no, things are going really well. We do have the dedication of the Miranda Sports Complex Friday night, kind of an open house at 5:30. We'll have some speakers at 6. So we're looking forward to that. Teams have been using it since August 1st. We've had volleyball in there. We've had wrestling in there with open mats. Football team's been using the locker room. I'm sure there are other teams that I'm not even sure that have been in there. So we hit the ground running 2 weeks ago, and it's really been it's been great. It really has. Not that there haven't been some hiccups, but again, like Mr. Spicer said, we've had students in the last 2 days. They're figuring out the roundabout. Parents are figuring out where drop-off area is. Everybody's been good, patient. We'll see how well we've done when actually everybody shows up tomorrow instead of just half for the last 2 days. So things have been going great. We are in conversations with our construction manager, Conger Construction, about coming up with a firm plan. Right now, our schedule shows us having a TCO mid-third week of August. We've always been shooting for August 1st. We do have a commitment from them, but we're actually working right now on the firm plan on how we're going to get there. I mentioned the roofing starting Monday. I think that's actually starting like 2 weeks maybe earlier than what the schedule shows. So we've been working towards that, but we're actually working on getting a firm plan on exactly how we're going to get there.
Awesome.
TCO stands for Temporary Certificate of Occupancy,
Thank
for
you,
those
sorry.
listening. Yes. We're always good for acronyms.
Yeah, I heard we're shooting for the convocation at the middle school next year, right?
I mean, we would love to have convocation at the, look at Jeff's face. We'd love to have convocation at the middle school. It would be shorter than what we currently
that's-
had this past week.
Got to have lofty goals.
We don't need to give them.
As Mr. Spicer said, our goal is that we have our staff, our teachers, our administrators moving into that building on August 1st. This is what we do every year. You know, my cleaning crew basically takes over the schools when teachers leave at the end of May, and We take them over until August 1st. So our goal is to get teachers and staff in that building, setting up their classrooms, unpacking their boxes on August 1st of 2025. So as far as the date of convocation, that being able to happen, that should be able to happen. We have a cafeteria that's designed to seat 500 kids.
Yeah.
So the cafeteria might be bigger than the gym, I'm not sure. But anyway, that'll be something we need to talk about. I know Paul was kind of poking me at convocation the other day.
Yeah.
So it actually has more to do with where do we fit all of our staff, and can we really fit in that middle school, as opposed to are we going to be ready, because we're going to be ready.
Gotcha. Yeah. And is the concession stand and the stadium and everything ready to go now?
Mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, we've still got punch list items that we're working on with the Miranda Sports Complex. We still have to get our scoreboard. We just got internet access up in the press box a couple days ago, so we still have to get that kind of reconfigured with the new system. The sound system that went into that, they're basically putting the finishing touches on it tomorrow. I'm meeting with them tomorrow morning. So I'm not going to say it's 100%, but if we had to have a football game tomorrow night, we'd make it happen.
Okay.
Fortunately, we don't have to until next Friday night.
Right. No, that's good. Thank you.
So I think the middle school conversation lends us to item number 2, which is the approval of the 25-26 school calendar. If folks will remember, we had approved two calendars for the 25-26 school year. One, if construction was delayed enough that we would start after Labor Day, and then one that would be very similar to the one that we've had for the past few years. We're going to make the commitment that we're going to open up, and we're going to commit to this current 25-26 calendar. Can you pull that up for me, Steve? Thank you. Just in case there are any questions about the calendar, just remember that we did do a survey of our staff and our families, community. Everybody wants everything, and in order to fit everything, this is what the calendar must look like. And that gives us a fall break, gives us a full week at Thanksgiving, gives families 2 full weeks in December, and a spring break. So we've done our best to do that and to end in May and not have students in June. So that's what the calendar looks like, and so we're asking for your approval of this calendar.
Can I get a motion? Did I ever get a motion? Not yet. Okay, I didn't think so. A motion to approve the 25-26 school calendar.
So moved. Second.
Any questions, comments? Comment real quick, not specific to the calendar, but can you tell us a little bit of feedback about the staggered starts, what the teachers are saying? Sort of related.
I can do that. I actually wrote that down for discussion,
Oh,
but I can do
okay.
that. Staggered start. What I wrote down is teachers are happy about it. They love it. And we're grateful and thankful for our families, because we know that it can be inconvenient to send someone yesterday, not today, and then they're going to send them Friday, and then maybe have. And so we're grateful for that. But the feedback that I think Paul, Jenny, and I have received from staff is that they love it, and we're going to continue to do it.
How long have we been doing it? Is this the first year?
Second or third?
Second, I think.
Second year?
Second for everybody.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
a question about it
kindergartners
today.
started.
Yeah.
Kindergartners
Yeah,
did
we've done it for
early.
kindergarten, but, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I received a question today, how did this come about? And I said, don't know. It happened before I got here, so I really wasn't sure.
Staff input. It's definitely from staff input, and I'm pretty confident in saying that many, if not most, do it. I know our neighbors do it at Loveland, West Claremont as well, so.
Yep.
Yep.
I can add that last year, many teachers were skeptical about it, and they all afterwards were just saying, it was just so wonderful to start your school like that with smaller numbers, especially for kids with anxiety and new students, so I think it was very well received.
It probably helps busing, too.
Yeah,
What?
and I think it's
Busing.
nice for like when you're doing the transitions between elementary and junior high, there's just a bit of anxiety that comes with that switchover, so that's been really nice. And then another added bonus that I noticed is figuring out things like that traffic circle much easier with half of the people on campus, so that's been good. And I'd also just like to say, I'm really glad that we're approving this calendar, because it's great to have the ability to plan your whole year as a parent, and also I'm really glad that we're committing to this calendar so that it doesn't upend so many things for our families.
Absolutely.
Any other comments? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Will,
Yes,
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the 5 policies as listed below?
So moved.
Second.
And this is second reading for these policies, so we did a first reading last month.
Yes.
Any questions, comments? Okay,
Nope.
call the roll.
Ms. Will,
yes,
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Now, human resources, are these all consent together? Okay, so can I get a motion to approve human resources business items E1 through E6?
So moved.
second.
Yes?
I just wanted to comment on the MOU with MEA regarding the cover time for our staff covering non-MEA members, et cetera. So we discussed, as discussed in our committee meetings.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Kind of short list.
Just one question. For the job description change for the aquatics coordinator, we just basically streamlined that job description, is that correct?
Sorry. We did. Jenny or Josh can. If you want to give more specifics and details about the aquatics coordinator, would be great. But yes, streamline that role.
Yes, as many of you probably know, Lois Levens, who has been around and been an amazing gift to our community in so many ways, recently resigned the position. And oftentimes when one person holds just one position, it's a good opportunity to take a look at it. So Jenny and I took a look at it. There were some things in that job description that quite frankly just haven't happened for years. They've just kind of evolved. One of the things was maintaining the scoreboard in the pool. Well, it was referring to the scoreboard that was replaced 10 years ago. So there were just things like, it just really needed to be updated, streamlined, and made more current with what the expectations are. And that position really helps us ensure that the pool is staffed with lifeguards when kids are using it, helps and assists with the scheduling and coordination of that because there are some unique certifications that go with that. But then also assists when some of our students with special needs use our pool at the high school and train for whether it's developmental swim meet or just as part of their curricular day. Helps us support that as well.
Great.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, please call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes,
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve curriculum pay as listed?
So moved.
second.
Second. Any questions? Okay. Okay, call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes,
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve 2 foreign exchange students for the 24-25 school year?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Wonder if there's anybody at home with a drinking game for ties.
Times, yes.
You know, probably not.
probably
but
not.
Mr. Daniels, do you want to tell us about the students? Oh, surprise. Sorry.
So each year, we approved a few years ago the ability to have up to 4 foreign exchange students. Currently, we have 1 that is approved for this year. This will bring our number of students that are with your board permission, it will bring them up to 3 for the year. We will reserve 1 in case there is a placement issue or something down the road. So we already approved Lina Siemens from Germany. So we have Lois Manganot, and I may have butchered that, from France, who will be living. These 2 students actually will be living together with 1 host. They recently moved into the district, and they have for many years hosted students in their home. So again, comes from a well-established family that does a lot of traveling, especially during holidays. In Europe, as you know, they have a pretty, I would like to adopt it here, a pretty loose calendar with lots of holidays. Will be a junior, definitely from a smaller region in France. And so, unfortunately, to the public, we can't release much more than that. But interests do align. The host agency does require key competencies of English. And Shelley Leiden and the counselors have already begun to enroll them at the high school. And then our second student is from Spain, again living in the same home, has some sports interests, so Mr. Zubko will be working through that as some of our teams are up and running, but definitely interested in all that we have to offer, from aerobics to American football, which you know they call football soccer, very deeply involved in faith, as well as fencing. So, but again, from Spain, which has some of the strictest requirements when their students go back for credit. So Shelley Leiden and the team at the high school will work with Columbus to make sure they have all the paperwork they need to be successful.
Great.
That's great.
That's a neat opportunity.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? Call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Yes.
Oops, sorry.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. You can tell us a little bit about
Yes.
Frog Street.
Mr. Daniels.
Oh, I thought he was going to throw it.
You can't see behind you. All right, so President Chestnut, members of the board, thank you for a few minutes this evening, specifically to discuss the curriculum adoption for our youngest Eagles. So we are tonight talking about looking at getting some, with your approval and a timeline in front of you, some new curriculum resources, which Mrs. Berkeley would say it's probably been a very long time since, it's been on her list since I've been here. So after some thoughtful collaboration with Kim Hayden, who is our preschool director, and helps support student services, and of course, Assistant Superintendent Jenny Berkeley, we saw an opportunity to select some new resources at Milford Preschool. Here you have a timeline. It was a rather aggressive timeline. When you're dealing with a small group of students, 208 is the max at our preschool. I learned that. And 8 teachers came together in May of 2024. What's interesting about preschool is they work off of 2 lists. So there's the State of Ohio list, and then Step Up to Quality. As you know, they are a Step Up to Quality preschool. So while the State of Ohio has many vendors to choose from, Step Up to Quality only has 3. So the list really shrank itself down on its own. In June, we did secure vendor presentations. So while most people were out and about and learning across the district, our preschool teachers were here. They had to hear and got to hear a presentation by Frog Street. And then again, they got to hear one from the World of Wonders this last week. What we're going to do is a parent preview at Milford Preschool from the next month, so that at the next board meeting, we will bring to you a finalized quote for approval, and they don't want to slow walk this, they want to sprint. So why this makes the most sense is when free money is free, which it's never free, I know that, spend it while you have it. So this will actually not cost the general fund any money. When the state of Ohio, through the Science of Reading, gave each school district money to adopt resources. So for us, we did purchase additional Wonders materials as we shifted people around the district where we saw bubbles of students grow and a teacher move from 2nd and 3rd grade. We may not have had a Wonders kit there. or training. We have really great reading, which is an approved supplement. So they have core content, supplemental resources, and then with the dyslexia and the science of reading, we were able to purchase M-Class Dibbles, which is a diagnostic, which gets all the way down to fluency, letter recognition, and comprehension, and all of that good stuff in the world of early literacy. So we will bring to you next month a quote for $44,089.92. That will be a full adoption implementation for 8 teachers, and Ms. Hayden told me that they have 208 students, so that's what we will buy for the assessment platform. That's currently their max. And then if board approved next month, we would have approximately $145,000 left, which would allow us to sustain M-Class Dibbles and Really Great Reading, which both Really Great Reading our teachers are super intent on keeping, so they can either use the Wonders piece for phonics or the Really Great Reading. It will allow us to make any changes for Wonders and continue to, where we may have an increase, and then continue to purchase Dibbles until this money runs out and we can figure out what we'll do next.
Is there any expiration date on that money, or do you guys have a plan to drain it down that date?
I'm not aware of any expiration date on that currently, but if there is, we'll make sure that you get that information.
So the benefits to starting now, originally the plan was for this adoption to take place in 25 and 26. But when we sat here with the teachers, they were very decisive. We want this and we want this now. And the reason was they wanted to learn together, because next year, as we are aware, when we open up the middle school, that will then close Milford Preschool and the academy. So our youngest Eagles will go half to Mulberry and half to Pattison, and the academy will move into the middle school. So they want to learn together. And the nice thing about this resource is the alphabet circles through 4 times. So by starting at the end of the first quarter, they're not losing any ground. So they definitely were. They have overwhelming teacher support, and they really want to learn together before the preschool, kind of the 4 go each direction. And then I just want to say this is aligned to the science of reading. It is approved by Step Up to Quality, and it is on the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce approved list. We are only allowed to buy, as you know with the science of reading, anything that was approved on that list. Everything that we've used with the money is on that list. And the nice thing is our classes are blended 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds this year, so it allows that flexibility in the curriculum. So that was important to the teachers as well. While this is a core ELA resource, it does come with a lot of math manipulatives, so that was another plus. So it is not a math program or resource, but it does come with a lot of math manipulatives, and it does come with the ability to do lots of stations. So this is the sample pack here. They did bring some other elements. You can even code with this. STEAM and STEM is built in. You can code the frog to go to the beach or go to the park, and it moves in 6-inch squares, so the preschoolers can say 3 arrows up and 1 to the left, and then it says, oh, I've arrived at the beach. So there are opportunities for hands-on, and even it builds in the STEM piece, and then the A is for the art in STEAM. So our next steps is we will have the parent preview set up at the feedback. So I will work with Kim Hayden to make sure that we have everything set up to go. We'll do a parent communication through Milford Preschool. We have all of the attachments that literally can be done inside of a newsletter out to them. We do have temporary holds on training dates. So right now, the 4th or the 18th. So our preschool teachers do not have students on Friday. So we've been able to hold these 2 Fridays open to make sure that we can have the training, which will prepare them for second quarter. We will ask you for a formal vote in September, and then a target date of September 30th, 2024 for on-site delivery. I would say, I would like to shout out, I'm sure they're watching with intensity, Kara Settles, Emily Korfhagen, Jamie Morera, Julie Thompson, Pamela Briones. She couldn't join us because it was Metaview's opening staff meeting. She's split between Metaview and the preschool. Jessica Smallwood, Rachel Warnecki, and Marnie Gratch. They were here doing the hard work and sitting through the presentations. And Without their decisiveness and their call to quick action, we wouldn't be able to move forward at this pace. So I am grateful for them, and Kim Hayden, who will ultimately be monitoring the implementation with us as the on-site admin at the preschool.
So when will they, oh,
Go
so
ahead.
when will they start the program?
Second quarter. That is the goal. So if they're trained on the 4th, that means everything's in their hands, and then they can start the units or in the part of the curriculum, that aligns to where they would be at that time of the year.
And did you say they go through A through Z every quarter instead of all year long?
The alphabet repeats itself 4 times, so it comes back through 4 times.
I love that.
So it is a pretty phenomenal product. Our trainer was from Texas. They just did a full implementation in Dayton Public Schools. So our sales rep could not be here, but it is really popular. And one of the reasons is obviously Jenny would share, it's her many years at the preschool. When something's on Step Up to Quality and you want to continue to show the public what a great product you have, then you have to choose that list. So they're sort of in a very different place when you have an approved list and Step Up to Quality. And also you are required to onboard new staff. So for any time, which our preschool staff is pretty seasoned and there hasn't been a lot of turnover, if we were to have someone come, in order to meet the requirements to stand up to quality, we can pay about $1,200 for an online training course so that new teacher can be trained properly and brought up to speed. And that's a one-time fee each time.
Are there any concerns about getting the supplies on time, since there were so many, there were only 3 things to choose from, basically?
She said to me, and I quote in the email, if you have the PO to me by the last week of, September, we drop ship and have everything in 6 days. So for what they charge for shipping, that would be my only complaint. I hope it comes quickly. But they're 8 kits, all they're in totes and they're organized, so we're not worried about when they move either. It all comes with the storage and all the materials. They did ask for some help for laminating, so we'll be looking for some laminating volunteers because there's a lot of laminating with Frog Street, but we can make it through that.
All right, things you don't even think about sometimes.
Teachers think about laminating.
Okay, on to transportation impractical. Can I get a motion to approve the 8 students listed here as transportation impractical?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Okay, call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the school resource officer MOU as presented below?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? This brings us to SROs at every school.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes, we now have, I think our last one started yesterday, but we do have a full-time SRO. In addition to that, we have a DARE officer who floats around between the junior high and 5 of the 6 Miami Township elementary schools, and then our Pattison SRO from the city of Milford. He's been doing DARE at Pattison for years, so that'll be part of what he continues to do.
Great, great. Those relationships with Miami Township and Milford are fantastic, and I think it's probably the #1 safety precaution and relationship that is most important for our schools. We appreciate that.
And this is co-funded, so I just think it's really important to thank our partnerships, because this is something that's really important to our parents and all the community as well.
I agree.
I'd also think it'd be a good time to give a little bit of a shout out to both the City of Milford Fire Department and Miami Township Fire Department. They were out at all of our buildings the last 2 days welcoming students coming in, so parking the fire trucks and ambulances out, and again, handing out little, wristbands and whatever, pencils and stuff like that to the kids coming in. So just again, a shout out to, as you said, Ms. Mason, the just great community partners that we have, and all of our first responders, both from Miami Township and the city of Milford. They're really great. And talking to other people in my position in other school districts, I don't want to say it's unusual, but I don't know that I'd say it's the norm either. So we're really lucky with the 4 departments that we have and how well they work with us.
It's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the amount of Patterson being put to work, opening up car doors for kids and everything else, so, yeah, it's fantastic.
Awesome. Okay, can you call the roll?
Ms. Will,
Yes?
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes,
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Can I get a motion to approve the change order as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Do you want to tell us a little bit about Conger's update?
This particular change order, we're required to bring any change order over $25,000 to you for approval. This was some extensive fencing that needed to be torn down in order to install parking lots and various things, and then obviously reinstalled to separate the middle school from the stadium. So that's what these costs are. It's been expected. It's been in the pipeline for months. Sometimes it just takes a while to get through the approval process through the state software called OAKS. So we're bringing that to you. I appreciate you letting us add it. It was approved by, it got approved and sent to us, I think, on either Thursday afternoon or Friday. And rather than waiting a whole nother month to get it through, because the work's been done already. So wanted to bring it to you, and I appreciate you taking that.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions, comments?
So we're going to be getting a lot of these change orders, probably correct, just because of timing. I mean, I know that all of them have been approved for the budget, but just because of timing issues, we'll probably be seeing a lot more of these.
You'll be seeing some of them. Some actually, it'd be nice to. One of the change orders that just went through this week was a deduct change order for 700-ish.
Yep.
About $700,000. Now, part of that was when we did the early site GMP, guaranteed maximum price. The project had not been bid out yet, and the bids came in less. So we got about $549,000 back from savings from that. And then we also received back $150,000 from Congress CM contingency from that early site package. As we go through it, the farther we get along, their CM contingency that is in their contract comes back to us, so it gets released back to us as a deduct change order. So, and there's smaller change orders that don't need to come to you all for approval. So we're obviously managing that, but that's all within the contingencies that are built within our budget.
Any other questions?
And the good thing is that we're out of the ground. When you're building a brand new building, most of your risk is actually getting out of the ground. Once you're out of the ground, the risk tends to go down. Now, renovations are different, but a new build, most of your risk is just getting out of the ground. So we've done that. So I'm not going to say there's not going to be more change orders that might come, but for the most part, our big risk is kind of behind us.
No more fly ash.
And then, well, fly ash is still there, but we're not going to try
We're
to
not
dig
touching.
it up anymore.
We're not touching it. Okay.
Leave it be.
Yep, okay. Call the roll?
just bringing it up makes fly ash appear.
I know, right, yeah, don't say the words. Okay.
All right.
Mr. Espy, call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Can I get a motion to enter into executive session to consider the employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or officials?
So moved.
Second?
And we will be taking action when we return from this meeting, hopefully, or from the executive session. Hopefully, we will not take the, we'll try to keep it streamlined. Call the roll. Oh, we need a vote to go in. Yes, call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes.
We're in at 6:44.
That is cute.
We don't have to vote to come back in, John?
We should.
We should, okay. We'll wait for Mr. Wilson. Okay, can I have a motion to, what's the word?
Exit executive.
Exit, just exit from executive session at 7:37.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Ms. Will,
Yes?
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes?
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Mr. Espy, would you like to say some words?
Yes. Thank you, President Chestnut, members of the board. My time at Milford Schools is coming to an end at the end of the day tomorrow. It's just time to get back to a more normal work-life balance and for the district to have a more permanent solution in my role. I want to first say thank you to the community here in Milford for my time here, both as a member of the teaching staff and as the treasurer. Thank you to the current board and the past board for trusting me with the responsibility required in being a leader in the district. Milford Schools is a special organization with some very dedicated individuals that make it feel like family. This is the case in every building and department of the district from my perspective. I want to thank the Treasurer's Office team for being outstanding at what they do and going the extra mile with me, especially lately working in the evenings and on the weekends, and coming in on Monday and seeing your inbox filled with emails from me is probably not the most fun thing to do. But they're extremely, extremely dedicated people that always make sure things are done the right way. Simply put, they're the kind of people that I would trust my most prized possessions with and ensure that they're cared for appropriately. So as a community member, I would really, I'd really want that in the Treasurer's Office team. Tough part here. Finally, I want to thank my family for the grace and patience that they've had with me through all the working long nights, the weekends, and even on our family vacation. Although spreadsheets are a little cooler with an ocean view. The fact is that each staff member's families make these same types of sacrifices, but I would be remiss if I didn't think mine. A moment of clarity for me was when my youngest daughter sat next to me with a toy computer and said, "I'm working just like you, Daddy." Yeah, I think we've all been there. And this is a working community, so I think people in the community know exactly what I'm talking about. It's time for me to tell my girls, look, I'm playing a little just like you. So want to wish the district the best in the future. I think there's much galvanizing to be done to ensure that this community is heard and that a sense of community continues to grow here. Truly believe that it can happen, can and will happen. Going back to my scouting days, I was always told to leave a place better than you found it, and I very much hope that the community and you all feel that way. I want to thank you for your time this evening, and I wish you all the best. Thank you. I made it through.
You made it through. I want to echo thanks my scouting thing that I remember is leave no trace, and you haven't done that. You've left a very good trace behind. We'll really appreciate the systems and the savings that you've put into place, and they'll continue to serve the district very well as we transition into a new full-term treasurer. And your family absolutely deserves your time. You've been doing, I don't know how, 150% of a job for way too long, and we appreciate the leadership you've given to us and as part of that time.
Thank you very much.
I do want to thank you for your time with us. The projects that you put in place, like SCView, have really changed how we work here. And you were always somebody who saw a problem and didn't see it as a problem. You saw it as something that you could solve somehow. And you were always coming up with good solutions to our problems. And I always appreciated that about you. And then another thing that you were so strong at was demystifying these very complex processes, and I think we all saw that. You definitely are leaving this place better than you found it, and we will really miss you.
And I just want to say thank you. Michael and I have been here the shortest amount of time, but you've just been so accommodating, so pleasant to work with, and I'm really going to miss you.
I will agree with that. You're amazing at your job. It's a gift how you simplify the very technical information. You're so professional and kind, and I appreciate very much.
Yeah. No, I share all that sentiment and just happy to have you as part of my network, you know, sharing with me since I've been here on the board, but previous to being on the board and just in the community, just different groups you're a part of, and obviously anything that you would recommend, I would surely sign up for, you know, so appreciate that. Looking forward to continuing to learn from you as you're not too far away from us, so, yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you all.
I would like to request a motion to amend the agenda to appoint Alan Unversaw as the interim treasurer pursuant to the contract effective August 17th, 2024. This contract will be uploaded to board docs this evening, as well as a motion to amend the agenda to approve the contract for Finding Leaders to conduct a treasurer search for the amount of $7,900.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, comments, questions?
Yeah, it's just important to state that finding a new treasurer for school districts as somebody who works in the K through 12 business, I've been in this business for 12 years, finding specific roles for treasurer, superintendent, even when it comes down to CIO and technical folks, the pool of resources is not as large as you think it would be. So we're very thankful to have John all this time, and thankful for Alan to have a service to help us in the interim, and also for a good program that can help us find the treasurer, which I'll let you talk a little bit more about, but it's not easy to do.
Yep, exactly. So Finding Leaders is the organization we used last time to find John. They are well established and well across the state of Ohio, so they will, starting tomorrow, we'll start looking for us and hopefully get somebody in place in the next few months. Okay, do I need a motion? And second?
We have a motion and a second to amend the agenda.
Okay, can we do a roll call to amend the agenda?
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes.
So now this is going to be voting to appoint Alan Unversaw as interim treasurer effective August 17th,
Okay.
pursuant to the contract.
Okay. Do I need to say that whole thing again? This is I'd like a motion to appoint Mr. Alan Unversaw to the interim treasurer position pursuant to the contract as posted.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? I just want to thank Mr. Unversaw for stepping in. A lot of good experience that you've shared with us, and we look forward to learning more and helping us keep the train going. Okay. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. I need a motion to approve the contract for finding leaders.
So moved.
Second.
Also want to thank Paul Pendleton and Ryan Pendleton with Finding Leaders for engaging with us again. Any other comments? Okay, call the roll.
Ms. Will,
Yes.
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Okay, so now we're back to the agenda. Do we still need item H2, which is a motion to approve employment of a public employee? No.
No, that was replaced.
Superseded by
Yep.
this one. Okay. Next, public participation. Did we have any additional
No, we do not.
public participations? And we're on to discussion. Mr. Spicer, would you like to kick us off with discussion this evening?
Yes, I think we touched on some of it already, but we had a great start the past 2 days with our staggered start. Traffic flow will be great tomorrow if everyone follows the traffic pattern.
Right, turn right
Turn
at the
right
traffic
in the
circle.
roundabout. I think we'll be okay. You know, our staff, students, families have been great. So it's been a great start. I think that Paul and Jenny would echo that everybody seems to be in a really good place. Transportation is transportation. You know, when you're transporting as many kids as we are, there's always going to be some issues, but we're working very closely with Peterman and Judd Phillips. Jeff and I are. We had a great conversation with him today, and so great opener. Looking forward to tomorrow and all of our students being here.
Yeah, and I got to attend convocation. You know, between attending graduation last year and attending, you know, this event with all the teachers and staff and everything else, and just seeing how smoothly it runs, you know, it was a really nice event. The speaker was great, you know, talking about gratitude and just being in the moment and that sort of stuff, which I think is very relevant for today. So yeah, that was a cool event. I'm glad to shared some good feedback with us today, which is nice to read. So I'm very grateful for all of that. And yeah, that's it.
I just wanted to say, and I always forget that this happens, but I dropped my son off at elementary today, and I forgot how fun it is to have that first day experience. They treat this first day like it's a party. They have music, they had a big blow-up eagle, and it was just so fun, and the teachers were so excited to see the kids. And I think that's really what makes our district so special. Everybody was so excited, and it's just a great experience for the kids. It just sets them up for a very positive beginning of the school year. So I'm very grateful for that.
The one thing that we sort of didn't talk about, Mr. Kaufman, was the performer, I can't remember her name. Ashley did amazing. Ashlyn, my apologies, Ashlyn. An amazing job performing a song from the Little Shop of Horrors, and that will be going on this summer. And then, did you also announce the spring show? Can I invite you up here? Because that's a pretty cool announcement, just to highlight the shows that our brand newly updated auditorium will be hosting this year.
Yeah, as he was getting ready, I was blown away by her singing. That was phenomenal. And it's a very weird thing to comment on, but that she has braces with the rubber bands and the way that how, like, strong her voice was. I was thinking, like, I don't know, without even being able to open, I don't know, I was blown away.
She's incredible, and she's just a sophomore, so we get to enjoy her
Yeah.
3 years.
Fantastic.
She was a Boyd E. Smith student.
She's a Boyd E. Smith student. She's incredible. And the arts are just exploding here in all the right ways. So we did share with the staff at convocation, and today we just received our full marketing packet with our branding guidelines and everything. We are super excited. We are one of the first schools in the entire country that will be producing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child this spring in this Mudio Theater. So we're really, really excited about that.
Yes, I'm excited for that. Awesome start to the school year. Kudos to everybody. If nothing else,
I have one other thing.
sorry, Ms.
Shout
Alice?
out to Mr. Terablini at Boyd E. Smith. He was the talk of my grandma mobile yesterday and today, and they're very excited.
Yeah, awesome.
We have our next regularly scheduled board meeting, September 19th. It will be here in this room, Milford Schools Administration Office, 1099 State Route 131, Milford, Ohio, 45150. Sorry. So with that, motion to adjourn.
One more thing.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
I just wanted to say that on Saturday, we are having the Raid the Halls at the junior high, and we extended an invitation to the students who went there when it was a high school, and the response has been amazing. So looking forward to a great day at Raid the Halls. If you're
And
free,
junior high
stop.
students can come too, right?
Yes. And I've gotten several requests, well, my mom went there. Can I come? Yeah, everybody is welcome. We'd love to have you there.
And come with an extra dose of patience for parking. So, anything else? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Ms. Will,
Yes?
Ms. Powers,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mrs. Mason,
Yes.
Mrs. Chestnut.
Yes. Thank you.